Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Nupur and today we're talking about some of the steps that you can take to write a cover letter for internships. So let's get started. In this video, I'm going to take you through a step-by-step process of writing your very first cover letter. I have also included a free template which you can access in the description box below. Before you even begin writing the cover letter, the first thing that you have to do is form an outline of what all you're going to put in the different parts of the cover letter. Before we dive in, I want to quickly discuss what a cover letter is and how you can formulate it. This is sort of like step 0. A cover letter is your first introduction to the reader. You could say it's sort of like a trailer to your CV. If you fail to write a captivating cover letter, the chances are that the person you send the email to might not even open the CV which is attached with the email. A cover letter typically includes an introduction, a body, and conclusion. A lot of students ask that when you're drafting this email or a cover letter, how do you exactly start? For me, I personally like to start with name of the professor rather than sir or ma'am. So I start with respected and then the name of the professor. This sort of brings a sense of formality as well as individuality to the cover letter. So how exactly should you start the first paragraph of your cover letter? When you start writing your first paragraph, you should start with a basic introduction to yourself, your field of study, and the intent of application. The cover letter can be a bit tricky for a lot of students. It should include the highlights of your school career, something like previous internships, past experience, as well as volunteer work. You can also include what technical societies you're a part of and what projects you've been doing in the past. So whatever that shows your potential for the particular project that you're applying for. Be sure that you're specific to that particular project. You also need to be careful. You don't just want to copy your entire CV and paste it back onto your cover letter. It should be a bit unique. You actually want to give a small sneak peek of your CV in this cover letter so they go on to click the CV. Now, third part is conclusion. This is one of the most crucial parts of your cover letter. This is where you convince the reader to go on and read your CV. Here you should summarize how you're eligible for the internship and how you're one of the best bets to be recruited. Now that we've summarized some of the crucial parts of the cover letter, let's go on to the steps. Step number 1, conduct some research on the person you're applying to. A step that is most skipped by a lot of students is to conduct research on the person you're applying to. For example, if you're applying for a research internship position, you have to know exactly what the professor is doing his or her research on, and you have to formulate your body according to that. If you write a generic cover letter that does not speak about the particular job you want, chances are that you won't be getting a call back. It is so important to be specific. If you're looking towards a research internship, when you start checking the profile of the professor, look towards the papers that they have published in the recent past, that is within the past 5 years, because the project that they are still working on, and read them a bit. You can read their abstracts as well as the conclusions, and then be sure to include them in the body of the cover letter. Step number 2, don't just copy your entire CV. I know we spoke about this when I was talking about the different parts of the cover letter, but this is so important to keep repeating. If you put your entire CV into the cover letter, chances are that it's a bit too long and might even be off-putting to the reader. To actually structure your cover letter, you should try filling in the gaps which you are not able to include in your CV. Sometimes, a lot of people ask for resumes. In fact, you might prefer sending in a resume. That means that you just have to put in all your experiences in just 1 or 1.5 pages. In that case, you can actually include whatever you have not put in the CV or the resume onto the cover letter. For instance, when I applied for my internships, I usually put in those points which show my potential of working in group projects and also conducting research. Like I mentioned some of the publications I've had and some of the conferences that I've been to. But what if you are in your first year and you don't have any such experiences? How do you structure your CV? So when I applied for my first internship as an engineering student during my freshman year of undergraduation, I just included the projects that I was a part of in that particular year. I was working with different technical societies in the college, and that's what I put in the application. If you've not even worked on other projects, you can also write about some of the skills that you have. If you know how to code, you can write about that. If you know how to do web development, you can write about that. If and only if it is actually relevant to the internship that you're applying for. And step number 3 is to talk about your strengths, but in a correct fashion. Now, this might be a bit obvious. You should definitely put your strengths in the cover letter, but there is a correct way of putting in your strengths. What most people usually write about is something like, I'm a quick learner and I have great time management skills. What you should be writing instead is, while working on the project, whatever you mentioned before this particular line, I learned how to manage my time well while learning the concepts of that particular topic. The difference between these two is one just blurts out the skills that you have and the other shows how you attain those skills. Being generic in your cover letter can come at a very high cost. Step 4 is to shift them towards your CV or resume that you have attached. This step is quite important. The main purpose of your cover letter is to show the reader why you are fit for the requirements that they have put in, or wherever you got to know about the particular project from, and why they should consider you. The real acceptance is usually through the CV. You want to write your conclusion in such a way that they're pushed towards reading your CV, and that's where the real magic happens. This job is done by your conclusion. You should tell your reader that you've included your CV or resume in the email. You can also provide your contact number so that they can contact you. When you're starting out, it's better to not just focus on one particular project, but you can actually mention it in the conclusion that you are open to working on n number of projects within their field. When you're applying for a research internship, this might open up prospects for you. As an ending remark to your cover letter, thank them for reading it. Step number 5 is to think like your recruiter. Put yourself in the shoes of the person you're sending the email to and assess your profile. Do you think you're suitable for the job? Do you think there's any chance for improvements? In academia, apart from looking at their Google Scholar profile or even the university page that they have, one of the best ways of assessing what a professor might be currently working on is to look at their research group and the projects that they are doing. Many times, if the people in the research group don't have a Google Scholar profile, you can actually find their profiles on ResearchGate and look through the projects that they've been doing. This provides a great insight into the research that is happening in the professor's group. Once you start thinking like the person you're sending the email to, you can start assessing your own profile. Step number 6 is to keep it crisp, concise, and check your grammar. Once you're done with the first draft of a cover letter, now it's the time to remove all the unnecessary information. When I first started writing my cover letter for the first internship that I ever applied to, I think it was around 1,000 words. I write too much, and that you can actually see from my blog posts as well. But it's best to keep the word limit around 400 to 500 words. If someone sends me an email which is like 1,000 words, chances are I might just skip through it. Especially if you're applying for industrial internships or even research internships, those people get like 100 emails a day. So it's so difficult to just like read each and every word of it. If you keep your cover letters small and sweet, they can spend more time on your CV where you want to actually attract their attention. While writing my first draft, I usually write like long detailed paragraphs. And in my second and third review of the application, I start reducing the sentences. The trick is to read and reread, write and rewrite. But once you're done writing it, you have to proofread. Any piece of writing reaches a breaking point if the grammar is not correct and there are like spelling mistakes in it. Just imagine that you get an application where you think the person has spent a lot of time in drafting the application, and suddenly you see that there is an A missing or an E missing. That is a little off-putting to a lot of people because it shows that you do not have attention to detail, or that's what they might think. You have to make sure that whatever you put in your cover letter is actually important and it's not just fluff. It is your responsibility to make sure that you're not wasting the time of the person who's reading the email. Keep it short. Another great way to achieve a proper cover letter is to let other people read it. Show it to your family, friends, and have them criticize it. This can help you take out some of the small mistakes which you might have actually skipped. If you want, you can actually even send it to me and I'll go through it for you. In fact, I have included a free template of a cover letter that I have used in the past. You can find it in the description box below. Writing a cover letter can be a bit daunting for a lot of students. It definitely was for me, but these are the steps that I followed when I was structuring my cover letter. It's best to start with a small outline and then go about and writing it. Many times it is so disheartening when you send out emails and they are not even read. But let me tell you one thing, during my second year of undergraduation, I sent out like 100 emails and I think I just got 10 replies out of them. So yes, it can be a bit difficult, but if you stay on it and if you keep on doing it, then you will get results. These are the steps that I followed while writing a cover letter for my internships, and I found that it made my life so much more easier. Once I had a draft ready, I usually used to just change it for different professors that I applied for by changing the name of the projects that I had or some of the specific papers that I read from their website. If you need any sort of help from me, you can reach out to me through my blog, or you can even leave a comment down below. I will be more than happy to help you. Thank you so much for watching my video. Have a good day. Bye-bye.